What's going on, man? So many men are giving up. And I don't want that to be you. And there's a lot of ways to give up. A lot of men resign themselves to just vices. They resign themselves to just playing video games all day, addiction to pornography, alcohol, and they just sleepwalk through life. And I'd say a majority of men, at least at some point in their life, they're going to go through a season like that, where maybe they feel numb, they've stopped trying. I know I've been there. And then, of course, the other kind of giving up is self-deletion. And I will never stop bringing awareness to the fact that there's that statistic that 80% of all suicides are men. And I can't forget that, because that's actually how my father passed away when I was 16 years old. About 20 years ago now, which is crazy to say. And that was definitely an experience that forged me into the man I am today. It's given me the degree of understanding and empathy that allows me to do this kind of work that I do today. At the end of the day, it's a matter of reframing and understanding that everything you go through in life is happening for a purpose. And you have to learn how to be hyper aware of the stories that you tell yourself and the narrative that you have about your life so far and what's happened to you, what you've gone through. And I know that's easier said than done, but at the end of the day, I just want to tell you that you are more powerful than you realize. So much, in fact, that you can go back in time, view all the things, all the hardships that you've been through, and decide the story that you attach to that thing. And this is the difference between victimhood and empowerment. A lot of guys are living in victimhood, and I know how palpable that feeling can be when it feels like the whole world is against you. But there comes a point in your life where you start to let go of that narrative and realize that you can become who you want to be. And so that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I don't know what you're going through, but keep going. Keep pushing through. Understand that life has a way of pushing you to the edge, pushing you to the limit. And you can either keep going down the path, keep choosing to have a sense of optimism, okay? And I'm not talking about naivety, but a chosen, grounded optimism where you're aware of the hardships, you're aware of the darkness of the world, but you're also aware of the polarity, the opposite of that, which is light. And it's the energy that this video is being made from. You have no idea the capacity that you have to help others. But first you have to help yourself. You have to learn how to love yourself. And I don't mean that in some airy-fairy, pie-in-the-sky way. I mean that in the sense of how you treat your own child. If you had a son or a daughter, you would do everything that you possibly could to give them what they need to set them up for success, to help them heal from their wounds, to help heal from their past. And, there's this stigma about trauma. There's like that sort of macho, tough guy attitude of like, trauma doesn't exist, just pick up your skirt and just keep moving. And you can do that. But what you will find is that trauma and that emotional pain and anguish that you've experienced throughout your life, it doesn't actually just go away. There has to be a point in your life where you make a decision to deal with that. And on the other side of that comes your true power. Because it's no longer just you trying to survive. It's you becoming so powerful in the essence of who you are that you're able to gift that to other people and show them their power. And this is how humanity evolves. And we as men, it's a rite of passage to learn how to become a leader. But first you have to learn how to lead yourself. And that involves, getting rid of the vices, getting rid of the pornography, learning how to manage your time, learning how to cultivate the ability to move towards the purpose, enthusiasm, and calling that is in your heart. Because that's usually a very small whisper, right? In a lot of ways you can say that's the voice of God. And it starts out as a whisper, and we have to learn how to cultivate listening to that inner voice and allowing that to guide us. And that's where listening to your heart, where intuition comes in, and a lot of men are terrible at this. We have to learn to cultivate that intuition and to integrate our feminine energy, which is more of like a surrender, right? You hear people talk about surrendering to God, surrendering to the unfolding of life. But sometimes we have to take a few steps back as men and tap into the other polarity that we've been neglecting within us, and that's the feminine. And when you learn how to integrate that within yourself, I think Carl Jung calls that the animus, then you also get better at interacting with women in day-to-day life. You're able to hold space for them and understand them and not be hostile towards them. So many men are hostile just because they're hurt. They've been hurt by women, and they also aren't integrated. Like, they can't just sit in a room alone, feel their feelings, because you have to feel it to heal it. You have to learn how to essentially get in touch with your emotions. And this doesn't mean just learning how to just like whine and complain all the time, but just learning how to be authentic and real with yourself. And you can be selective with who you share that with. If you have just like one close guy friend or just like a handful, even that is a blessing. But if not, that's okay. For the longest time, I didn't have that, and I had to learn how to cultivate solitude, being alone with myself. So don't be one of the guys that gives up, okay? Don't resign yourself. Keep getting back up at any cost. Maybe you started a business and it failed. That's okay. I guarantee you that if you get back on the horse and you either continue that same business or start another business, whatever it might be, you're going to look back in hindsight and realize the valuable lessons that you learned through the process of that failure. And I have learned that failure really doesn't exist. Every time I've seemingly failed at something, after I lick my wounds for just a second, not too long, feel what I need to feel, and get back up, in hindsight, there were so many things that I learned that allowed me to move forward in a way that I never thought possible. So that's what this YouTube channel is. That's what these lessons are. A lot of this music that you're hearing in the background, I created myself, because I had a whole other life before this of just creating music. And that's something I still do, but I put a lot more focus on this kind of work. So at the very least, brother, I hope this video helps you feel less alone tonight. Okay? I see you. But you need to learn how to see yourself. And when you learn how to see yourself and love yourself, right? That's more the heart. And then learn how to know thyself, cultivate knowledge and wisdom, and marry it with the feminine energy of loving yourself too, then you will become very powerful and you will become a force for good in this world. Let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts or questions, if this brings anything up for you. Just so you know, I offer coaching and mentoring. If that's something that you'd be interested in, there's a link in the description there. Click on that, you can book a discovery call. And yeah, it's been amazing. I've helped quite a few guys now. You know, whenever I do one-on-one work, it's usually a several-month program. And you know, we do weekly calls and we just go deep. We uncover all the layers that you need to uncover. We start to unpack things, figure out your life's purpose, whatever it is that you need. So if that interests you, consider that. There is a very intentional unfolding to this life. And there's chapters and seasons, and everything is very cyclical, just like the seasons. You might be going through a winter right now, and you're in that slow season of trying to figure things out, trying to heal, maybe from a breakup, maybe from a loss of an identity that you had, whatever it might be. But I'm telling you, if you hold on, if you keep going, if you don't resign yourself and just start numbing yourself, or decide to go down the path of self-deletion or whatever it might be. And I don't say that lightly. You know, there's a lot of friends that I had growing up that went down that path. People I worked with at various jobs, and of course, like I said, my father. That's never the answer. You know, usually when that happens, it just means you're going through a dark night of the soul. And on the other side of that dark night of the soul is a rebirth, is a new version of you. And you might be the caterpillar in the chrysalis right now. So just hang in there. And that's all I got for you tonight. I hope this encourages you. You are loved. You matter. And you have barely scratched the surface of what you're capable of. I'll talk to you soon.
Ourselves here on a fault line, speaking in whispers and cold sighs. So tired of the sleepless nights, while we're holding on to these white lies. Is it written in the stars?